What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team since 2020, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 300,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers. I also am blessed to be a featured contributor to the Fly Nubian Queen YouTube network, and that's where Black women have a voice. And that platform has 581,000 subscribers, and some of them I can see have jumped in right now. And then finally, and I have to say this, especially this evening when we're broadcasting live, I am a featured contributor to the Indie Soup Media Independent Content Creators Network that is powered by Dr. Tachi. And you know what? Dr. Tachi is with us tonight. There you go. There you go. But it is Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. LaLa's here tonight. Aisha is not with us tonight. But you know what? Here we go. Here we go. Bam. Bam. LaLa, Dr. Tachi are in the house. What is up? What's going on, ladies? How we doing?
It's been a good week.
Okay. It has been a good week? How so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dr. Tachi, how you doing? Love your blouse on you. Beautiful. And Dr. Tachi wears hats very well, family, don't you think?
Yes, very much so. I'm like jelly.
No, don't be jealous. You too.
Jelly.
My
she
dear.
Said jelly. She said jelly.
Don't be jealous, whatever. You too, my dear, can go and find hats at any retail store that fits them. Let me tell you, half the time it's because I don't feel like doing my hair. So, it becomes a beautiful way to kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah. The things we can do.
Well,
Listen.
You know what? Dr. Tachi, take that compliment from the queen of flirty hair. I'm not forgetting that, by the way. I'm not forgetting that flirty hair. That I don't know who gave that one. Who was it? Jen who gave that comment? I don't know who it was. No, Michelle.
I think it was
Michelle.
I thought it was cinnamon.
You know what? It was one of them. It was one of them. Speaking about our family. Hey, Jen Myers, you're in the house. Hey, Leanne Woodstock. Good evening back to you. First time. Thank you. Subscribe wherever you're watching this, preferably on the Dr. Vibe channel. But if you're watching on Fly Nubian Queen, subscribe to that also. Fitness IQ Cam. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. She's in crunch time because she does taxes, and tax day is April 30th here in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have 15 days after we do in the US.
Yeah.
Yes. So she was in crunch time. So she would just finish doing her things I wish I knew about money show. And she was just giving tips and giving advice to people. Say, get that stuff in. She says, after this Friday, I'm shut down. I'm not taking any more calls.
I don't blame her.
And
she's probably wore out.
Hey, Louisa, love your voice. From Toronto, yes. Wherever you're watching, subscribe. And then Jen Myers says, love the hat. Thank you. Love the hat. So
thank you.
Let's get some things out of the way. Primetime Saturday show store. There is the link, and you'll see it on most of the platforms in the comment section during this conversation. Next up, there is the Patreon where you get 10 and 10. What was did you do a 10 and 10 this past week?
We did not. Aisha needed a little bit of a break, and she was making sure that she gave honor to her friend, Mandisa.
Yes, that's why Mandisa. That's why Aisha is not here tonight. There is a service today, virtual service, so she wanted to be present in that. So she just wanted to focus her energy on that and fully understand. She says, maybe just watch this one tonight, check it in. Also, join the Primetime Discord group email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button so you get notified. actually had a really incredible the conversation yesterday morning about an organization in Canada called the BBPA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw that.
yeah, that was. So don't worry, Dr. Tachi. There will be edits for Indie Soup Media on that one. I have an intern working on that, and I think I'm gonna probably be able to do part 1 and part 2 of that one.
Oh, beautiful. I had to look up what BBPA was, and I'm like, is this something in the US that I don't know about? But no, it's a Canadian organization.
It's a Canadian organization.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to send a link to Dr. Boyce on that one, because I think it also involves Black economics too. So I think that be in his wheelhouse. Also, if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms I host, again, email me dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. So family, let's get into it. And Lala wanted to talk about this, and I think Dr. Tachi wants to chat about this, because they're both creatives. So am I, and it will lead into our second conversation piece. But Lala, you wanted to get in and dive into what impact AI is having in the music industry, and I think just to start this, give your background and your relatability to this subject. So I'll let you go for it.
Well, I've been singing since I was 3 years old. And my husband and I, we travel and we sing, and he has 5 albums. He's also been on the nomination list for the Grammys. And so we have been doing things together for many, many years. I see that my husband works very hard. He has so many songs, guys, he can't even get them out fast enough. He's very much a creative. And, you could just be having a conversation and a song will pop in his head. And sometimes it takes months and years to get out what you want of this song. You want it to be just the way that you want it to be. But the way the world is right now, they want to gobble up anything that is new, and they want it quickly, and then they want to throw it away. And my experience with music and singing with my husband is that America is really not appreciative of music that comes out. They are okay in some areas, but they think music should be free, fast and free, no paying, no nothing. But yet it's the soundtrack of your life. If you go to the grocery, you hear music. If you go to the doctor, you hear music. You get in the car, you hear music. So music is around everything that you do. And so right now, there is a battle going on with AI and the creation of music, and also bringing back artists, guys, that are no longer with us. And there is no say-so or any rules right now that stop them from doing so. So the perfect example is there was a diss song that was put out, that Drake put out, against someone, Kendrick Lamar. And Drake used Tupac's voice. And Tupac's family is not happy about that. And they spoke out against it and said that this is not how this should be. He didn't have permission to do so. And they don't think that it's right that their loved one is being used in this way. I have to agree. We are seeing more and more of this. There was a friend of mine who put a great debate on her Facebook page. She said, I don't know how to feel about this because I love AI, and then I'm also hating AI at the same time. She put up a song of, and I don't know which website, I can't think of the website it was, where you go and you tell it what exactly you want. Example, 1960s Motown song, in the style of Sam Cooke, bluesy, and just put in everything that she wanted and say, make it about taking a bath. And guys, when I heard this, I thought I literally just I stopped in my track. Matter of fact, I played it for my husband and he said, stop it, just stop it. It upset him so bad because it sounded so real. And the voice and the music sounded just like something that came out of Motown. There were little nuances if you are an experienced musician that you can kind of tell that don't sound right. But overall, with people not appreciating music the way they used to, or the time to learn music, or the time to put into making music, this is exactly what they want. And a lot of this music is already starting to make money. And I'm trying not to hog this whole conversation.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, it's atrocious to me that we don't have respect for what people do. Now, if you're a doctor, oh, he's a doctor. You say you're a musician, they think that's some kind of joke. Oh, well, what do you really do for your day job? Let me tell you, honey, that's what my baby does. It's music all day long, and this is what we're both moving toward. I mean, I'm building with him. We just got off of a mini tour, and overseas, they gobble it up, but they want to pay you. Hey, you want to come to our town? We'll pay you. We'll shut down the whole town. Because if it's a little town, a little bitty town, we'll shut down the whole town. You'll be the whole entertainment for the weekend. I'm kidding you not. It is a night and day thing between the United States and Europe.
May I?
Yes.
So to your point, that you talked about, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, the top three, the trinity of good careers, nobody has anything to say, and you expect to be paid for whatever. Mm-hmm. Nobody takes on, with the exception of few pro bono cases, most attorneys are expecting to be paid, right, hourly. Even if they write they say hi to someone for you, that will be X amount of dollars, please. Doctors, right. When you go in, I remember very well, I asked my doctor, I was like, well, can you just call me over the phone? No, you have to come in. Is it free? No, you have to pay. So they're expecting to be paid regardless, right? Nobody leaves their house unless there is a check attached to it. But for some reason, the arts are expected to be free. And we're both creators. I'm also a dancer choreographer. I'm also a visual artist. I draw and paint. And people think that because it's for enjoyment, that somehow it's supposed to be free. But I don't blame them, as Africans say. Anyway, I don't blame you. I don't blame you because society has set it up that way.
Yes.
It's even in media. How much free media do we get? We get
that's right.
We get a lot of it. I'm not mad at it, but a lot of it is free. We watch a lot of the major celebrities and etc. on network TV giving all of this stuff for free, and we're watching it over the air.
Yes.
So when it comes to, that's why sometimes I don't complain about things. Now you have a choice whether or not to subscribe to all of these different platforms. You don't have to because it gets to be costly, but I'm not going to complain about it if the artists are getting their just due out of it. Because as an artist myself, that's why I never complain when an artist says this costs such and such. Okay, fine. How do I pay? Because that is work. However, it is undervalued work in the United States. If you go any place else, you go to Europe, you go to Asia, the arts is a profession and it is part and parcel of a functioning society. It's only here.
And then in some countries, you get paid on what you do. If you're a musician, you get paid as being a musician.
Yes.
It's part of an acceptance. In America, it's never enough.
Exactly. And I also wanted to bring up, this is perfect that you brought this up, LaLa, because I actually talked about this a few weeks ago with the Biz Chicks in terms of an open letter. And I know you know about this, an open letter that was signed by people like Billie Eilish, Nicki Minaj, etc., that was really wanting to curtail or stop the use of AI, because there are now, as you mentioned, apps. And what is AI? AI doesn't come up with stuff out of the air on its own. It is human trained, and it is trained using things that already exist in the stratosphere, mostly the internet. So what it's doing is it's scrubbing sources from the internet, from social media, etc., to come up with whatever the prompt is that you've asked for. This is why there's so much challenging of it, because artists are like, wait a minute, that's my work, or what? Because it's taken from these sources. It doesn't make it up on its own, which is why you have to be very cautious and very careful when you're using these things, because you can although maybe not yet, but you technically are infringing on somebody's AI. Carrie,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
I mean, IP, not AI, IP. So yeah, so this open letter, it was Katy Perry as well, and also the estate of Frank Sinatra.
Yes.
But this is not the first time that this has happened, right? Think about all of these legal battles that have happened in the music industry over the
Yes.
years. And I use this. The very first one was this. This had to be either 2013, 12 or 13 when I was teaching full time at the university. The summer, remember the song Blurred Lines? It was
Yes.
T.I. and Robin.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Robin Thicke and who was the other one? Oh,
Pharrell.
Pharrell
Mhm.
Williams. So those three collaborated and they had Blurred Lines. So the first thing I did was like, how was everybody's summer? Has everybody, this was the song of the summer. Does everybody know about Blurred Lines? And they were talking,
Yep.
I played it, they grooved along, we watched the video. I said, okay, now I'm going to play something for you. And I played the Marvin Gaye song that it was based off. And they were like, oh,
They didn't get it. They had no idea.
They had no clue.
idea.
So I said the time it hadn't come up for litigation, but I said, trust me, the estate of Marvin Gaye is going to say
They're
something.
coming.
Sure
They
enough.
are coming for you.
So this is not new. It's just now that it's pulling from more sources because it has access to more sources. We didn't have rampant AI then like we do now.
And now you're chasing something that's already been let out of the box. So, you know, they can put this out, but it's already out and people have already downloaded and people have already done what they needed to. You can't go back and say, nope, give that back to me. You can't do it. Once it's out, it's out. They started with Prince. They started with Michael Jackson. They started with, I mean, they couldn't wait to get their hands on this. And here you have places like ChatGPT and those places coming out trying to convince Hollywood that these text to videos are not going to affect their industry. That's just not the case. I've seen some things that have already started. You know, they keep saying it's not given to the general public, but you're still giving it to certain people.
It's rubbish, and it's going to be sent. It's sorry to overtalk. I'm just excited.
No.
It is going to be sent to the general public eventually. And all we have to do is look at the fact that Tyler Perry was supposed to expand his studios in Atlanta. Once he saw Sora, he said, never mind. I am not expanding this anymore.
That's right.
He realizes that this is something that could have an effect on the jobs of actors, production people, etc. And he said this. However, he's like, smart enough to know that to pummel money into expanding physical spaces for production does not make sense in the wake of AI.
That's right. That's right. And everybody's so excited about putting their voices into these things. How do you think you got that R&B, that Motown singer? They're taking the Mod Podge of stuff that you've put in and given them permission to do and creating these voices very easily. I feel so conflicted because I actually love AI to a certain capacity. I use it for responsible things, but I try to use it. I don't try to use it to fool anyone. I use it to help enhance my business. But I would never, me personally, would never use it for music, would never create, you know, I do create certain images because I can't find certain images that I want for my business. So I create them, but I also give credit when it's not real. So, but you can bet I'm in the minority.
All right, let's break for just a second. I want to catch up on some comments here. Fitness IQ Camp says, I'm worn out doing taxes. She's saying she's worn out already. She has also, and that like screaming emoji saying, help me. She also says condolences to Aisha and Bendy's family. Regina says, hugs to Aisha. Divine Online, check your email. I'm just no, check your text message and your email. Check your email. That's what I'm gonna just say right now. Fitness IQ said it's definitely a love-hate thing when dealing with AI. What else? Regina says, I wish the artists could sue AI sites like they did Napster for copyright infringement. JJ Mars from Colorado. Hope you're doing fine. How is weather in Colorado today? So, ladies, I want to ask, why does
I'm sorry. Before we go,
Okay.
did you want to? Toby Fox had a question. Can
I
we
want to
answer
get to
that?
that. I want to get.
Oh, okay.
I want to get to that because that's, I think, will be the tail end. How to end out this section.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what I want to ask is, why does it seem that the entertainment industry is always a step behind? Now, going back in the day to Napster, they were behind with that. The whole strike in Hollywood, well, in all of the industry, but the writers were sort of behind. Why does it seem that they're a step behind in this? Like
I just think that technology moves so fast that some people aren't even focused on how fast it can move. Napster created a lot of drama and things that can never be recovered back into the music industry. One thing that I honestly can say to you is I applaud the writers and the Actors Guild and all that for jumping on it when they did. No one is doing anything to protect the artists for music. So they never have. So I don't understand why they didn't get a clue from what the actors and the writers were doing to protect their artists now. I think that it just moves so fast. I mean, come on, Dr. Vibe, you know, what was it, a year and a half ago before when it first came out, everybody was like, oh yeah, we got ChatGPT. Now it's a daily thing that people are using for everything from creating grocery lists to creating diets, to help do a planner for their day, to do motivations. I mean, it's not just for that type of thing. You could do it for every day. So things change so fast. And because AI is basically feeding the beast, you feed the beast, it gets better and better and quicker. I don't see how we're going to be able to catch up with this anytime soon.
First of all, I'm sorry. I never want to overtalk.
Yeah, you're fine.
You know, you don't overtalk, Dr. Touch. You share.
Okay.
So you just share. Don't call it. Oh, you just share. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let me address some people use it to make up grocery lists. If you need AI to help you decide what to buy, we're doomed. We are doomed. I mean, I understand using it for everyday tasks, but something like that, most of us are creatures of habit, and never mind. Let me not tell you how to use AI. Excuse me, whoever does that out there. Why does it seem like Hollywood and the media industries are behind? Because they like status quo and they don't like change. You see how long it takes for things to be adopted by the media industries. Part of it is a money thing. I'll give you an example. So when you look at your local your local television station, most television stations are local affiliates of larger stations. There are very few independent television stations out, if at all. And so they don't get money from the parent company. So if you're an ABC affiliate, they're not giving you money to upgrade your equipment. So if there's a new standard that comes out, and for example, a few years ago when ATSC 3.0, which was supposed to be the new broadcast standard, came out, that requires that you change your equipment, right? The average station doesn't have a whole lot of money in their budget to do a whole overhaul of things, especially when they had just switched over barely to HD, to high definition, right?
Yes.
Everybody was not using high definition. So now you're telling me there's a new broadcast standard? So that's one problem, the money end of it. The second end of it is people don't like change. And I think this is just me. And it's probably an unpopular opinion. When has that ever stopped me before? I think that the media industries, the top, the heads, the executives in the media industry and the shareholders are just used to making too much money in this game. Or let me say so much money in this game. And so if I have to spend money, that means less money for the shareholders, which I am beholden to, and less money for me. You mean I don't get a $40 million package this year because we have to do X, Y, and Z? So they're not going to do it. It's only
That's
when
right.
their back is pressed to the wall and now you have to do this, then they scramble to find a way to do it. But America has always been reactive as opposed to proactive, because usually being proactive means I have to spend money to prevent it, and nobody wants to do it. They're like, well, we'll just do it now and apologize later. So I think that's another thing as well, that there's an old guard of people that don't want things to change, people like the status quo, and they don't want to spend money to make these improvements. And I won't say this because, again, like you said, I am so proud of these guilds, the different guilds, SAG-AFTRA, the Writers Guild, even, the Directors Guild at first was there. And now IATSE, the ones that does for the Guild for the Crew. I'm so glad that they're standing on, no, we need to do X, Y, Z, and then stave off things like AI, etc. Right? So I'm so proud of them. But at the same time, things go back to normal as soon as they have meetings with these people and they're like, okay, we can work again. So there'll never be a change. So it has to come from the artists too, because I think as artists, we accept too much rubbish from the people that hold the purse strings. And because they throw you a few pence here and there, you think you're good. But then they do something that really makes you annoyed. And then you march, you come to the table, you agree, okay, we're good again. And everybody goes back to the way it was. That's why when I was thinking, I was trying not to be so cynical, but I'm like, but it's just going to go back to the way it is in 3 years. Because, they come up for the contract again in 3 years. It's every 3 years they renegotiate, and nothing ever changes since the beginning of Hollywood. So why do you want me to believe that this time something is going to change? It's us as artists too.
That's right. I mean, it's just amazing to me that even the artists themselves, there's not very many artists who are speaking out against it. There are you tend to hear the ones that are the most heard.
Well, I want to interrupt. Why is that not happening?
Because it's okay. This is my theory. So this is my POV, is a lot of these young artists think that if they hit it big with the social media, my song goes viral, I get to do this, then I don't need the Grammys. I don't need I don't need another. As long as I'm making my little $500,000 on my TikTok, I'm going to be fine. And that is what I'm hearing. Like, I have a good friend and she has 11-year-old. Sweetest kid. And he was like, Mom, all I got to do is just like make some music and put it on TikTok and I can make money. He truly believes that. And she was like, I think you need to talk to LaLa and her husband because it doesn't work that way. So he did. He talked to us and he was like, oh, well, maybe that's not a good idea. Because, that's what they think. They really think that they can do this. And hey, guys, you can get GarageBand on your phone. Okay, you can make a beat right there. All right. So there you go. I mean, if you're doing it on your phone, what makes you think that you need any of this? You're going to make yours and forget about everybody else.
And can I add to that? I think the thing is too, that we are we're tied to Hollywood. We're tied to the music industry because they are the traditional modes of distribution. It's fine to have a record label. It's fine to have content, but the key is distribution and keying in to that. So that's where it all lies. That's where the power lies in distribution. So I think artists are sometimes remiss to say anything because they think that those are the only way to get wide distribution. And it's not. I'm very heavily for indie. Yes, it takes more work. Yes, it takes longer because the industries have established distribution channels that you haven't cracked yet. So of course, it's going to take you longer, but it can be done. All we have to do is look at, and I keep using the example of Issa Rae. She started with Awkward Black Girl on YouTube. It took some time, but it got picked up. Pharrell Williams had a YouTube network called I Am Other. He picked it up on his network. Then she was supposed to have something with Shonda Rhimes that ended with ABC. That ended up not working out, and good, because Shonda Rhimes left them for Netflix anyway. But eventually HBO said, come on, let's produce this. And she has a first look 8-figure deal with, it's not HBO anymore, it's Max. But she has a first look 8-figure deal with Max for the things that she produces.
Yep.
And then
So
started
it
because
can be
she
done.
was the distribution. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, and no, it can be done.
Can be
I mean, look at Doja Cat, look at Ice Spice. Now, they all started on like TikTok, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And actually said, Ice Spice, I never forget, I read that and I about passed out. Now, she's not my cup of tea. But then again, you know, it doesn't matter if she's my cup of tea or not. She has an audience. You don't have to like everything that somebody puts out. But she basically said, and this just made my gut wrench, I just put out anything because y'all guys keep on buying it, needing it up. I could put out garbage and you're gonna consume it. And she literally said that. She said, I can come on and just say, ah, and you'd be like, ah, and that's what happens.
But see, that to your point, that's part of the thing with artist development that you get from the other end of it that you don't see with when you are going the social media route. Sometimes some of these people, like, you don't say those things out loud. You're basically telling your audience that they're a bunch of idiots. You would never, you don't do that.
Yeah.
So, but because she doesn't have artist development, now she does. But at the time, I'm sure she didn't. They just say whatever because they can, and because social media facilitates that. So you need the other end sometimes for artist development, or we need to start seeing artist development that is really geared toward people who are trying to distribute via social media. Some of it is there, but not to a large extent.
LaLa, let me ask, has AI impacted you and your husband, what you're doing?
No, because for one, we believe in artists. Okay, guys, perfect example. Our last 2 projects, Globetrotter Side A, Globetrotter Side B. It is exactly what it says. We recorded a song in every country that we visited. We hired local musicians and artists. There's nothing on their AI. There is nothing on their produced beat. If we wanted a drummer, we hired a drummer. We wanted an African drummer. We went to Nigeria and got an African drummer. So for us, no. But then again, and we even went old school. We pressed vinyl this last time and even gave you the wonderful inside of the vinyl that you can sit and look at for like years and not notice everything in there. Okay. So no, it's not affecting us in that way, but we're also going where we're appreciated. Notice we didn't tour in America. We toured Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. And we are looking forward to 3 other countries this summer. And so we're going where we're appreciated. We're just not going to let it bother us. We're going to keep going.
May I ask where I can
stop
get
asking
this?
for permission, please. But your parents raised you well, especially Mama. All right, go ahead.
Yes. If I may, where may I get this? Because a fun fact, my line name for Delta was Globetrotter. So on top of it probably being an amazing project, I want it for vanity reasons too.
Oh, so I love it.
Well,
you can get everything that he does on Bandcamp. And it's WILKEY, Wilkie. And he's on Bandcamp, and you can get all of our stuff there.
Wonderful.
So, LaLa, why don't you put that information in the private chat and I can share with the family?
Sure, I'll be happy to.
No problem. Hey, want to promote family? So as we continue the conversation, I guess we're at this point now. Actually, you know what? Let me just catch up with comments. Jen says, doing well, Dr. Vibe. Hope you're doing well also. Absolutely. Regina says, glad to see you, Dr. Tachi. She also says it's just another form of sampling, and I predict there'll be legal comeuppance for the theft. J. Mar says, AI could be used to help construct a daily diet for personal health reasons, such as food ingredients, number of carbs. April says, artists need to watch a DVD Slave Trade. And
no, that's a great documentary. Yeah.
Slave Trade is also on YouTube. All right. Okay. So then we come to the point here. Toby says, how do we best protect ourselves from AI robbery?
Ooh, I don't have a good answer. I know that you can always copyright your materials and do whatever you want to, but like us, as you heard us say earlier, we're chasing the rabbit. And so I'm not really sure how we're going to put this rabbit in the cage. And I've thought about it quite a bit. Matter of fact, it's something on my mind every day, because as a creator of not just music and other things, I want to be able to protect my image, my voice, my brand, my everything. So it's something that I've been thinking about, but I haven't come up with a solid answer.
This is a very interesting question. And unfortunately, right now, definitely the small things you can do is, if you're ever writing anything like a screenplay, etc., make sure it's registered with the Writers Guild East or Writers Guild West. It doesn't matter which one. If you're in the US, make sure you copyright things. Make sure you trademark things. If you have an idea, keep quiet about it until you get all of this in place, because folks love to steal. Now, does that protect you from AI scrubbing and getting these things? No, not necessarily, but that's why you get these things in place, because there will come a time where there will be able to be legal battles about this, definitely. So get your stuff in order now. Now, is that helping you for the short run? Not necessarily. The only thing you can really do in the short run is not put your stuff out there to be found. That's the only way. If your stuff is not out there to be found, then this can't be a problem. But then the thing is, you want your stuff out there to be found.
Right.
I honestly say, and it may sound however, but I would honestly say, don't worry so much about it. Get your protections, keep making, keep your records, and that should help in the long run when you are able to really, when there's legislation in place and you're able to litigate. What I don't understand is, well, we're about to talk about this. I will get to that later. I won't. But
we're gonna get to some more stuff. But yeah, I think, and it also, it goes back many years ago, and last Sunday was the anniversary of Prince's transition, and I remember him saying many years ago, don't let technology control you, you control technology. So again, and let's go back to his example, how he basically fought Warner Brothers to own his content. So I'm sure we're going to see the growth of AI lawyers, or lawyers that handle AI.
I'm sure. Yes. I am sure of it.
If you look at law schools now, there has been a growth in the past few years about internet law, intellectual property in the internet. There have been a few big things that have happened. Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie going into the public domain is a big thing, because this marks the first big popular culture that has gone into the public domain. So copyright is life plus 70 years. So the life of the creator plus 70 years, which means it's been like 100, it's been enough time now for that to happen. So very soon, I mean, when you start going, and it's crazy, when you start going into museums and they have the 80s on display as historical, it's getting close to time that these things, some of these things could be going into public domain. So
here's a perfect example of how crazy it is with AI. I'm in several groups that help. We all come up with the prompts. You put in prompts for anything that you do for Chat GPT or for Midjourney or anything that you're doing for AI. And everything is key to prompts. You can't just say, give me a purple person with polka dots and expect that's exactly what you're going to get that you want. You have to be very, very specific. So I'm in several groups because it's really hard to create minority skin. We come in so many shades. And so I am always trying to get the right shade for what I want, for what I'm advertising. And there's this one lady, and it's become a running gag. She goes into all of these groups, steals people's pictures, which were AI created. She goes and puts them in her own page, puts a mark on them like they're hers, and then she sells them to other people. So theft of AI is already here.
Yes.
So that's kind of crazy, y'all.
Yeah.
I hope she likes heat.
Me too. Me too.
So Liquid V says, just checking in, but it seems it may be helpful to learn it a little. Amen. Folks love to steal.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I love AI. I use AI so much. I've created so many things, and like LaLa, I'm in a bunch of groups where we share prompts. And it's helpful because the more detailed your prompts, the better
That's the key.
your things will be.
Prompts are the key. The prompts are
Prompts are
the
the
key.
key.
The prompts is 100%. The prompts are the key. Right
And
from day one.
yeah, and to LaLa's point, it is very difficult to find good royalty-free images for people of color, particularly Black people. So,
Yes.
and the default is never us. The default is always usually someone of European descent. When you say, if you put in professor, it comes up with the stereotypical, and that's
Sure
because
does.
it's trained using what humans think a professor is,
And a
So-
certain types of humans.
and certain
Yes.
types of human, exactly. So,
Right.
which is in a way, which is why we have to be involved in AI. We need to be there to help train these models so that the continued stereotypical concepts of what constitutes person X does not continue. So that's why it's so important to be a part of these groups, to be involved in the development of this, to come up with prompts that actually do things. I'm so proud. I have a soror who, Shauna Blacklens. I don't know if you've ever seen her, but she's on Instagram and she is an amazing AI artist. Her prompts are to the, I mean, I've never seen, her stuff is just beyond superb. So she's learned it to the point where you have to look and like, is this AI or is this a person? That's how good. That's how good she is. So we need to all be that good.
Well,
I'm looking her up right now.
I'm just piggybacking. That's, so one of the reasons why I started my online journey is I wanted to have us control our narrative.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So again,
Yes.
another opportunity for us to, and as again, this is moving so fast. If we don't do it now, tomorrow's too late.
Yeah.
Already too
Right?
late today.
Instead of as Dr. Boyce says, don't wait for one day, do it today.
That's right. It's
Amen.
true.
100%. So, all right. So what we're going to do, quite a boisterous first few moments on Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. Aisha's not here. Dr. Tachi's here. So it's all good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little break. Actually, I think there's one or two. Yeah, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some a 6-letter social media platform that is on the verge of not being available in America anymore. And they're two, it starts with a T and ends with a K.
And that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harry Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harry Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like, I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. No, really, the rappers get all the attention. Seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Like the twerkers and the just people that don't always represent the best of us. The diversity. Like people like Dr. Vibe. Like everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
Really
Vibe he's trying to do good work for Black people. Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him. The men who are also doing the same thing. I see Dr. Vibe in here. He's a great brother. Everybody should follow Dr. Vibe, by the way. He's a smart brother in Canada, and we need to follow smart people. So follow Dr. Vibe. If you see him in the chat, and Dr. Vibe, say your name in the chat so people can see you. I want you to click on his name, and I want you to go follow him, please, because I want these men and women that are doing the right things to get the support they deserve. Hey, Dr. Vibe, how you doing, brother? Again, like I always do, I got to say everybody should go follow Dr. Vibe. He's got a great show. Dr. Vibe, I know Dr. Vibe's got a kingdom because I see your channel. I see you pouring into that every day. Everybody should follow Dr. Vibe, by the way. Look him up, Dr. Vibe, V-I-B-E. He's a great friend of me and my wife, and I love this guy. Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show.
Dr. Bob is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. Helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Bob is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Bob show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
All right. We are back on Primetime Saturday with Aisha LaLa. Well, tonight it's LaLa and Dr. Tachi. A few updated comments. Double or Nothing Enterprises, AI is bad for our community if they know or not. Like robots taking people's jobs as well. April Watson says slave trade is about Prince. Jill Jones just recorded her voice in a tag on credit songs he did with Prince. So Jill Jones has some stuff out, and we are working to get Jill Jones on the Dr. Vibe show to talk about some of her stuff that's going on. Also, we're going to put this out here. If you want to get any stuff from Will and LaLa Key, I've put it in the platforms of everybody that we're watching, but also I'm going to put it out on the screen. Let's do it here. Add the banner. This is where you go, family. So wherever you're watching this, other than link, I think it's going to be on my LinkedIn in the comment section. It's there, and also a whole bunch of contact information. I want to also, before we get into our next conversation topic, we need an Indie Soup media update coming from Dr. Tachi, since it's just past celebrating its first month.
Yeah. So I can't believe it's been 1 month already. The 25th was the 1 month anniversary, even though it's weird, even though we're now going into week 6, the 25th, week 6 of it. So it was the 1 month anniversary on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever the day the 25th was. And it is going really well. We're being received so well. The amount, like I have to watch the stuff every day, obviously, because I'm uploading the things, but I'm just really amazed by the level of creativity that's out there. And that this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying you don't always have to go and beg the major media outlets for space to say something, because they're not going to. I'm just going to be real about it. And so seeing that and being able to aggregate everybody together has been wonderful. We've been growing really fast on YouTube. So it's only been a month and we're almost at 4,500 subscribers on YouTube. We started with like 48, and in 1 month we've grown like by 4,000. So by Monday, I wouldn't be surprised that if we're at that 5,000 mark. So we're growing really fast.
Well,
I love it.
I'm glad to be part of it.
Yes.
I'm glad to be part of it. Like not only content provider wise, but advisory board wise. It's an honor and a privilege. So people check it out. I just put it on the screen, and I'm also going to put it in all comment sections right now. There you go. It's sent to all the comment sections on all the platforms that you may be watching this live or on replay. So next fun thing in the world is, well, this is the big thing going on in social media right now. After Biden signs TikTok ban, ByteDance says it won't sell the social media service. So go ahead, LaLa. I know LaLa's not happy on this one.
Well, there's several reasons why I'm not happy about this. Listen, I very much understand our security, okay? And I think it's very important for our country to be secure. But I'm also like sick to my stomach in the fact that you guys are going after TikTok when Facebook and all them other things doing the same thing. Y'all, I mean, if you're going to go after one, you better go after all of them. And the audacity of America to tell somebody to sell their company or be banned is just shows you, the caucasity of our country to try to decide these things. Now, another thing that has me very upset about this is the fact that they knew that they weren't going to get this taken care of. So what they did is, and they're good at this, the government's good at this, slipping it right on in there with the aid packet for the other countries. So, of course, it got passed because they were going to pass the aid packet. Now, I don't blame TikTok for fighting back, and it's going to be very interesting to watch this. I don't think this is going to happen as fast as people think that it's going to. So it's not like it's going to shut off tomorrow. They have a case, and we will see how that case goes. How it was done was actually, that was just slick. That was Slick Rick in the pool hall doing the way they did it. So I'm not happy about that. And I also just don't like the fact that we feel like we have control and to tell people in all other countries how to run their country and how to do their business. I don't like it.
Dr. Tachi?
I'm right there with you. How very dare you get on your high horse and ride in and tell let's look at it from the other shoe. If China said, well, I'm sorry, Apple, we don't like the fact that you have the App Store over here. So what you need to do in order to continue to function in China is sell to a Chinese company, or you have to get out. You'll be banned. America would be livid. Or livid.
Oh, we'd be having protests. We'd be doing everything.
Everything. So for some reason, though, you think you're above the law when it comes to that. First of all, it's a foreign-owned company. You cannot force them to divest from it. I understand things when it comes to national security, but even then, you cannot force a company to divest from owning part of its company simply because you wanted to. Do a full outright ban if that's what you want to do, fine, which I still feel is silly because, again, it's very interesting how quickly you all came to this when there are other problems that need to be solved that you have not managed to solve, but you have fire under your pants, the seat of your pants for TikTok. And
by the way, China just banned WhatsApp, but they ain't making them sell to some other Chinese company.
Exactly. And this is the thing. Yes, they've banned other countries have banned things before, but I have never heard of any country saying, well, you can stay here, but you have to sell to one of our companies here.
This is not biting well at all. I'm sorry, Biden, that should have never been a part of that packet.
No, that's what I'm saying. How did that happen? How is that allowed to happen? You people on the Hill. First of all, I'm already convinced that a great number of you don't really know what you're doing, and the ones that do keep getting beaten down by the bullies on a particular side. So there's a lot of bullying that's happening. But how dare you it's like you should be ashamed if you represent a district and this is the best you can do. You should be ashamed. It's like being the mayor of a city that is full of blight. I wouldn't tell anybody I was the mayor of that city. If it had that many problems that I wouldn't tell anybody. This is the same thing. So I don't like this at all, because I don't like how it could also set a precedent for other things. It's not just about this. What stops them then from doing this with other countries? You find any five and dime reason to say that they can't operate so that you can take over.
And let me put this in your pocket. The rep who put this, Michael McCall.
Yeah.
He's the one who started all this garbage. And before he did that, y'all, he invested money into Meta. Okay? Big money. On 3 different occasions, he put in $150,000 into Meta.
I've heard Meta hired a whole pile of lawyers to get this.
Oh, yeah. Now, after he saw that it was going to pass, y'all, he went back and reinvested $350,000 3 times on April 1st, 15th, and 1st, 5th, and 13th. So he's putting all his money for his bill into the bank so that he can cash out with Facebook.
How is this not insider trading?
Thank you.
How is this not insider trading? You had beforehand information of something that would possibly affect the stock and stock price of a publicly traded company. That is the very definition of insider trading.
If I've ever heard one. So they're still getting away with these people on the hill, as you call them, Dr. Tachi. they don't represent any of us.
No.
None at all. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm getting ready to get back on the bandwagon and trying to see what we need to do about term limits for all of them. And that includes the Supreme Court. I may go to my grave screaming and hollering with a stick talking about but I'm still going to fight for it, because who in their right mind is going to vote for term limits for themselves? There's still got to be some kind of balance. These people are no longer they don't represent any of us. And there are a few that I do love. Okay. I love, and they're fighting hard, but they're also fighting against the village with sticks and pitchforks. So they're the good people standing on the hill talking about, we gotta fight. And everybody else is, shut up, sit down, shut up, sit down, shut up, sit down. Or kick you. Our poor Tennessee representatives, they go in and fight every day, and they are beat down by all sorts of racism and ridiculous, just outright racism, and they know that they're doing. So the same is happening on Capitol Hill. So they don't represent us. They only represent themselves, because somebody's getting paid, and insider trading is real. And this stuff needs to stop. People need to start waking up and stop worrying about the surface things that don't really matter. Because as long as they got us fighting down here, we fighting hard, they up here getting rich. And I'm at the point right now where I see no distinction.
I want to jump in. Both of you are content creators. You're very engaged with other content creators. Have other content creators talk to you about this situation, and what have they had to say, if anything?
I have several people.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have several people that I have. Don't forget, I forgot. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but I used to be what was my title? I forgot. Everybody called me the mama. That's what they said. Oh, this LaLa the mama helps us. I helped with people on a smaller app. At the time, it was called Live AF. And I helped content creators come on and learn what they needed to do. And a lot of them, after they left Live AF, went to TikTok, did the same principles that I taught them to do, and they are making good money. So immediately, a lot of them are back to me like, what do we do now, mama? I was like, mama don't know, because the government don't know what they're doing. But a lot of them are now trying to figure out what they want to do. It was just like Periscope. We all three have been on Periscope. I was very active with Periscope. Dr. Vibe, I got turned on to you on Periscope. You see what I'm saying? So we had a family and a community in Periscope. And when Periscope died, we all started just kind of blowing in the wind. We didn't know, some of us going to YouTube, some of us going to Twitch, and some. So a lot of them are also now trying to put more eggs in different baskets, because you can never, in this industry, never in live streaming, you cannot put all of your eggs in one basket. You can't do it. So a lot of them are concerned, where should we go next? And that's what they're thinking.
So for me, I haven't talked to people in terms of, that are on TikTok in terms of what do we do. I do know that there are many creators that are very upset about this, and they're willing to rally and do all sorts of things, of course, with the blessing of TikTok that only helps them, because there are creators that make a significant amount of revenue from TikTok. Howsoever, I always say this, that you talked about eggs in one basket. You need to take those eggs and put them in your own basket. It is not about the platform. It's about the people. And it's you as a creator, really, irrespective of the platform. Platform doesn't matter. The platform is PIM. It matters not. It's you as a creator that people are following. So if you tell them to follow you somewhere, they will. Because honestly, especially if you're one of their favorite creators, they're going to follow you from platform to platform to platform. I'll never forget with like the Zumba community. We love certain certain Zumba instructors. They're the ones that you'll whatever. And I know that when I left, or not when I left, but when a certain Zumba instructor left the gym that I was at, a whole bunch of people went with him
Sure did.
because they liked him. They're like, oh no, I don't know who else you're going to get for this, but I'm going where he's going. And
Yep.
because it's about him as a personality. So that translates directly to content creators. So I'm urging content creators, first of all, it's going to take some time. It's not going to go away tomorrow. It's not going to go away. We probably won't even hear twitterings of this until next year. But so it's not going to happen quickly. But that's the time that you need to get yourself together and say, okay, I need an email list. I need a text group. I need to have an app of my own. I need to.
So they will follow you.
They'll follow you. Do YouTube, because even that's the one that I know that has been relatively stable thus far. So if we're looking at places that are stable and you can monetize, if TikTok is gone, then your next best bet is going to be YouTube. Probably.
Exactly.
Right? In terms of monetization.
And hence, this is one of the reasons I am also working very hard on my YouTube content. So, I mean, because at first it was an afterthought, I would post things or other, but now I'm constantly thinking, okay, what content will I be putting on YouTube? Because that to me is the most stable. But I also have things like Buy Me a Coffee, where I have a personal diary, my life diary that I tell people. I talk about the grief that I go through with my sisters. I talk about my dreams. I share me being bad on guitar. I do all that stuff, and people still come there. All of my followers still come there, and they support me there as well.
Absolutely. And it's the same thing. So like Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon is the same thing. Get yourself a Patreon page and get patrons who will pay every month for some of these special things that you do. Make sure that you have courses. Make sure that you are you have ebooks. Because the money from this it's never been from the platform only. Most creators are not going to be able to live off of the money made off of the platform. It's going to be these ancillary products like the courses, the training, all of that, and the ebooks, and brand partnerships and brand sponsorships. So it's a portfolio of stuff. So I said that to say, if TikTok is your only strategy, I am sorry for you, because it cannot be your end all and be all.
No. You got to really, if you're really serious about creating online content, you should know this. That's 101.
Yep. 100%. Have that mailing list, spread it out, and then also to go where you're best fed. Like for myself, I didn't really get actively involved in YouTube until a few years ago, and now it's the most stable. Plus, I ask people, who owns YouTube?
Google.
Bingo.
Which means you're searchable.
Yep. And you do well on YouTube. You also do well on Google and on Bing search. So Google, YouTube, and that's another thing. A lot of people, if you do audio podcasts, do you know that you can put them on YouTube now? It's been around for a long time.
With an RSS feed too. So if you already have one, you don't have to upload the episodes individually.
Actually, though you have to, they do, if you have a lot of episodes like I do, they limit to about 40 a day, but it just click, go. So YouTube is becoming, it's even a hotter property now. So we'll see what happens as the TikTok journey. I want, I gotta have to ask both of you, with young creators, will this become an election issue for the president's election?
Oh, I think so. You've got too many people who are vested in this. I know too many people that don't even watch TV. This is their entertainment. And I want to also address something else that a lot of people don't talk about. We see these things as entertainment, but they're also great connectors, guys. when you are sharing, I know many people who have children with autism, they share their story. And there's a community of other people who want to see what they're going through because that's now their community. There is like a dementia community. There's a community for everything. It's not just getting on these platforms and talking about what's going on in the pop world or getting on and learning the dance craze. There is a sense of community of where you can go. Now, my husband and I always laugh. We laugh. We're working on like doing my office. I'm so excited about my new office. And I said, well, baby, it's been a long time since I learned painted. So I need to go to the University of YouTube and go find out how to cut these corners. And that's the first place that I go to. So, you know, it's how to, it's also learning. It's also connection. It also good. There's true crime where help people get in, it's everything. So yes, there are a lot of people who are really going to be paying attention to this, and it will affect some of the election stuff. I truly believe that.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next conversation piece. It wouldn't be a prime time without 45 updates.
Sorry,
My God.
I don't know how long of a segment this is going to be, but I know that there's always something going on in the world of 45. Who wants to jump in first?
Lala, I have to fix my face first.
Well, y'all, if you ain't involved, you should be involved because every day is something new. Now, right now, y'all, he is going through a whirlwind of stuff that I think is finally caught up to him. These things make me have a little bit of hope that something will be done on this front. Now, the fact that it's what's going to bring him down is probably the case with the porn star has me a little twisted because you would think that, you know, trying to overthrow the government, you know, would have been one that would have took him down. But no, we're going to talk about a porn star. So the case against him has brought out some really interesting things, like how he has paid people to squash stories, to make up stories. We all know the National Enquirer is a piece of garbage, but he admitted, the owner of National Enquirer came in and said that he admitted that he conspired with him to stop stories and to create false stories. So isn't it very interesting that the person who outcries fake news is the one who's putting out fake news and who's behind fake news? That is one thing. Many of the witnesses that have come forward this week have not had anything good to say. As a matter of fact, if you ask me, it's not looking good for the prosecution. Now, of course, this case is not over. A rabbit may be pulled out of somebody's hat. But honestly, I think that Trump is truly banking on the Supreme Court voting his way, which right now I have anxiety over because most of the justices are kind of swaying in his direction all the time anyway. But I also feel that in this situation, they know better. They know that there's going to be an outcry if they don't give this the right kind of attention. I'm very proud of Justice Kagan and Jackson for standing up and asking the hard questions for Trump's lawyers, who, by the way, can't be in this courtroom because why? He's in the Stormy Daniels. He can't go to this one because the judge said you better show up every day, else I'm gonna arrest you. So we have that. We also have the fact that he tried to overturn or lessen the case against Carol, Carol, and the judge stood by and upheld his verdict that he must still pay $83 million to her for the defamation. It's not been good for him. And it's showing on his face. If you guys really kind of look at his face right now, you know, he's always scowling. That's his face all the time, you know, that's just my Trump face. But actually, he looks worn down right now. Like, he looks like he's not had any sleep. And as we can tell, because he goes to sleep in the court all the time, he has just a lot on him in just this past week that does not look good. And I'm hoping and praying, I'm believing in humanity that justice will be served in some kind of way against him. However, what lessened my happiness was that he still won Pennsylvania. So people are still believing his lies and still supporting him. But I also feel that people are doing this because, once again, we are a two-party world. You forget independent. Most people don't think about independent. You're either all the way Republican or you're either all the way Democrat. And so even if you don't like your candidate, you don't want the other one to win. So therefore, you're still supporting them. Listen, I've always told you guys, I don't always agree with Biden, but I will be if I put in any kind of vote for Trump or not a vote for Trump, because either way he wins. Me personally, I think both of them need to go. They old and they need to get out of this thing because they don't know what's going on in the world. And neither one of them seem like they have any common sense anymore. But I'm not going to give it to Trump that easy. But I'm telling you right now, if y'all not watching the trials or at least listening into him a day, I think you will see that he is tired. And like he just, even his gumption when he tries to come out and rally the people who didn't show up, by the way, he asked people to come and support him. And guess what? One lone man with a Trump sign showed up sitting out there talking about, Trump, one guy. Okay. Everybody else is getting tired of his shiznit. Okay, so it's really interesting to see how the tide is turning on this. I'm just praying that the momentum continues. But once again, guys, he's still the freaking nominee. How did we get here? This should not be. This man has so many cases, we can't keep up with them all. He can't keep up with them all. So this shouldn't even be allowed in our government and in our nation. And that's how I feel about that. But it's look, I talked for a good 4 or 5 minutes before I let Dr. Tachi say anything, because this is absolutely ridiculous how much stuff is out here. I rest my case.
Well, just before Dr. Tachi starts, Regina says, my sister and I predict 45 will not make it literally. And then she also says 45 needs Beano badly. Dr. Tachi, anything you want to add?
LaLa so eloquently said everything. I don't even know what to add, except for the fact that when we look at the rest of the world is watching this. For the longest time, we have been the righteousness police in terms of what is right, how governments should conduct themselves, what world leaders should and should not do. And we're very loud when we speak about it. So now you want to be loud and wrong when it comes to this, because this is exactly the same thing and allegations that you levy against other countries for doing. This is pure dictatorship behavior. There is no way, except in a staunch dictatorship, then somebody who is accused of crimes like this should be allowed to still be the nominee. Never mind even run. But the party itself should have enough courage, should have enough righteousness to know that this person should not be the nominee. Get somebody else to do it, like they say on social media.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're so stuck. And the thing is, there's this, I do know a lot of them can't stand him, but they are scared of what he can do and the power, because you are so tied to that little bitty bit of power that you have, and you foresee this individual as being able to mess up that power. Anybody who, it's been shown, anybody who crosses him, that's it. And nobody wants to go on that side. And on top of it, here's the thing with the GOP, they will be wrong and stick together.
Yes, they will.
They'll be wrong, loud and wrong, but they will stick together.
They will stick together because now they have a lot of the power. Look at everything that's happening in the country. Okay. They may not like Trump, but they like the power that they have by banning books, by, getting rid of DEI, librarians are going to be facing prosecution if they don't do it. Librarians, really? Are you really serious about this right now? Like, they are loving that they have so much control over the things that they promised people that they would never do, like get rid of Roe versus Wade. And so it's the good old boy network. It's never gone away. It will never go away. And we have to figure out how we're going to have to lessen that power. But when you have Biden doing certain things that is going against what so many people are talking about, I won't get into politics on this part because I just don't believe in it. Like, you know, the whole Israel Gaza thing, the Ukraine thing, the TikTok thing, now guys, he's proposing to raise capital gains. If you sell your house, he now wants you to pay like 46% on the sale of your own home.
LaLa, in our most recent Canadian budget from last week, they've raised the capital gains, but it's for it's a $250,000. They've raised it that amount. So, so that is coming too. And it's interesting. I was part of.
We don't have our kids, our children. My son is 37 years old. He works his butt off. Okay, he makes really good money, and he's like, "Mom, I don't know if I'm ever gonna. Mama, can I buy a condo? Because I'm not going to be able to buy a house for myself." And I hate that for him.
But that's the marker of a dictatorship, where you have very few people at the top that hold all the way. You think that's capitalism? No, it's the way we're doing it is a dictatorship, right? So you have very few people at the top that hold all the wealth, and everybody else, well, you're out there for yourself, and we're going to make sure you don't succeed. Because remember, this whole school thing and everything, and of course, I'm a professor, so I believe in it in school, but I also know that school in general, no matter what level, was made for you to be part of the machine. So you're not really supposed to succeed. This country is not interested in you succeeding. This is why they tax you to high heaven. This is why there are all these rules and laws that are very difficult for the average person to understand, so that they're not interested in you getting ahead. And to me, it's the same thing like the mayor example I gave. You should be ashamed that you have a contingency of people in your country that cannot do for themselves because it's so different. You should be ashamed. And you call yourself a developed, quote unquote, country? How very dare you?
And they'll be the first ones to say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. What bootstraps? She didn't even give me the laces.
Most people don't even have shoes. Never mind the bootstraps. You all are the ones that have the Fendi shoes with diamond laces. So of course you're going to be able to pull yourselves up. So it's terrible. And the rest of the world is watching this whole thing. They're watching what we do. It's not a good look. And I will say this, that I also don't blame people who are tired, particularly people of color who are tired. You're dealing with, you've already been dealing with discriminatory treatment through even when rules were in place. Regardless, they were still doing it. So now that we don't have things like DEI, etc., in place, it's free reign. So I don't blame people who are like, you know what, I've had enough. This country clearly has shown me it's not for me. So why should I continue to pay taxes to support people who don't support me? How can you be in a country that's supposed to support its citizens and you can't buy anything? You are a forever renter. I can kind of see if you live in a place like New York or LA or San Francisco, very high rent places. Okay, that just comes along with it. But we're talking even places in middle America where
Mississippi, Alabama.
Thank you.
You can't even afford to. California and Florida and Texas right now, most of the stuff that they have, when you do buy a house, your insurance and your taxes are higher than your actual mortgage. You don't get rid of those things, y'all. You don't get rid of the taxes and insurance. You might get rid of the principal and interest, but not the taxes and the insurance. You'll be paying that for life.
But here's the thing. I know so many people, especially people that have houses that are, like the $1 million range or whatever, and they're not paying insurance. They are not paying insurance. And I don't blame them. When the system is not set up for you to win, and I'm not just talking about certain people, I'm talking about the vast majority, that the system is not set up for you to win, but they give you the narrative that you can win. if you do X, Y, and Z. All right, well, I did that. Why am I not winning? Oh, well, there's something wrong with you. So it's
Yes.
gaslighting. It's this whole
Yes.
system of gaslighting that there's something wrong with you if you cannot succeed in a system that was never meant for you to win
in the first place.
So I don't blame people. And they're like, you know what? Let me find some place and let's look at what's happening in Europe. Let's look at Asia. Look, my sister's gone. She doesn't live in the US anymore. She was like, oh, bye.
I'm out.
She lives in Asia. Better quality of life. Better food that they're not trying to poison you with.
That's right.
Peace.
Less stress.
Less stress. Nobody's bringing up the fact that you're
and
black.
Your money goes so much further.
It goes
so much further.
And guess what? We know we're black. Fine. You don't have to tell me every 5 minutes. I know this. Black is in here. It's not that you don't have to tell me. So to not to have to deal with it. I mean, that's part of the reason that I went to Howard for grad school. I got tired of seeing racial epithets scrawled in desks.
Yes.
There's a level of peace. And so I don't blame people. There are those people that are going to be like, okay, well, we need to stay here and fight. You need to be involved. And I understand if you are here, it's a duty for you to be involved. But then there are the people that, especially if you're a person of color, we've never had peace. I don't blame you if you want peace and you jump, please,
and some
with
people
my blessing.
And some people will say, especially in the United States, we're 400 years behind.
Yeah, we are.
Right.
And it was never made for you to catch up in the first place.
Okay. Gunning back to Regina says, and why isn't 45 being indicted for the fake electors?
That's just take a seat behind everybody else and all the other charges.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Last conversation piece. Another interesting thing in regards to what's going on in America. New York appeals court overturns Harvey Weinstein's sex crimes conviction and orders a new trial.
You want to know why it got overturned? Because they said that there were 4 alleged victims that should not have been able to testify against this man. So therefore, he gets another trial. Now, listen, guys, there were some big names who were against this case. Ashley Judd, being one of them, who has been very vocal about what's going on with this case. And she just feels like, you know what you're asking of people to come back and do again after the victims. Now you're punishing the victims for having to come back and recreate this trauma all over again. She said the courts are not a therapy session. They're not there for you for therapy. You have to do that outside. So now you have to come back and fight once again and go through your trauma and go through this whole thing from scratch to start all over. Now, listen, I wasn't happy when they did. I'm not saying it just because it's Weinstein. I wasn't happy when they did this with Cosby either. There is enough there. Where there is where there's smoke, there's fire. And there were so many that did step up. Now, I will also say that I don't always agree with some of the ones who are stepping up. There was a couple in Cosby's case. I was like, that don't sound right. They just trying to jump on the bandwagon. You can kind of tell when somebody's telling the truth, especially if you are a trauma victim yourself. There's kind of an unspoken thing that we know in body language and the things that we say, that we know you've been through what we've been through. And the fact that they're going to let this man out and have to punish the victims again, because I truly feel that way. They're punishing the victims.
Well, he won't let out because he's been convicted in other cases. He's not going to be let out.
This is just New York.
Yeah.
It's just New York. I understand. But still, the fact that this even got overturned, just it should not be. But then again, we just got to talk about Trump, didn't we?
We did. And there's a thing in this place with very powerful men being slapped on the wrist, being given the benefit of the doubt. Now, again, the way our judicial system is set up is that you are entitled to be represented and be entitled to be judged by a jury of your peers. I understand that. The problem is it feels like justice is never really done. Like this is all a pretense and it's just a formality for whatever. This whole thing with, and I do understand, again, with victims reliving the trauma, but that's because they don't see the people in these cases as victims.
No, they don't.
They're not viewed in that light. And therefore it's like, okay, well, why don't you come in and tell us again what happened? They don't know. They've never, and here's the thing. There is a disconnect between a lot of different professions.
Yes.
One thing that I have a problem with is that there is not mandatory training in medicine, in law, in tech, in the social sciences when it comes to psychology, sociology, social psychology. You need that because you need to understand people. Every single one of these works with people. But when you look at programs in universities where these people are trained, a lot of these are electives and they don't have to take them. Therefore,
that's right.
If you never take them, you never gain the chops of how to deal with people in these things. You're learning on the fly.
Yes. 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 And if you don't have the tools to understand, then you're doing no service at all.
Exactly. And so this system persists because nobody involved has the tools to empathize or understand.
Yes.
The judges too. I mean, you may have some empathetic judges, but in law school, that's not what you're taught.
No.
You're taught to look at the facts. And that's
right.
all you look at. And you forget that behind these facts are human beings that have human emotions. So if you're asking them to come and relive something that is traumatic, don't you think that adds to the trauma? Oh, but you don't know that because you didn't have to study that or engage with that in your training. That's a problem, and it needs to be mandatory. So that's another thing that needs to be addressed.
I agree. Wholeheartedly.
Anything else to say on that one? I think you ladies capped it off real good.
No, he can go away. He can go back to Rikers.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we done. Okay, we done. Another epic conversation. As always, Primetime Saturday with Aisha LaLa. Today we have Dr. Tachi filling in for Aisha. Always good to have Dr. Tachi in the house. You always have an open seat here. Two people that always have an open seat, you and Dr. Alicia. Anytime you want in, we make room for y'all. But before we let everybody leave, Dr. Tachi, how do people touch base with you?
You can actually touch base with Instagram. I'm always over there. So at Dr._Tachi on Instagram, you could see everything at the bottom here. Also, Indie Soup Media, please come and watch the amazing things we have. You can watch on indiesoupmedia.tv. If you have a Roku device, you can download the Roku app, the Indie Soup Roku app, and watch that way. You can watch us. We're Monday through Thursday from 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. on Fridays. You can find us on our YouTube channel, Twitch, on X, and on Facebook, all at Indie Soup Media. So we hope to see you over there.
All right, good stuff. And you can catch replays of this program too.
Yes.
There we go. LaLa.
Well, I'm back on X, y'all. They let
How
me
did
back.
you do that? How did that happen?
Well, they just probably got tired of me. Probably got tired of me.
Because I could tell because you posted one of the broadcast places on today on X. And I said people are watching on X.
Yes. So I'm back on there, and you can catch me at Living the LaLa Life. And if you can't get life in there, it's usually Living the LaLa. But of course, on X, it's Realty Goddess because I didn't create anything over there. But you always can catch me anywhere over there. And of course, guys, please come into Discord. We have so much fun there, and we share so many other stories. And we want you to come in and get in on the conversation.
All right. Fantastic. And you can catch, well, that's not me. That's where you can watch replays. Let me just share Yeah, here we go. So you can catch me, the drvibeshow.com. You can also YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at the drvibeshow, X/Twitter. I thought I was going to get away from there, but lots of people watch this live on X/Twitter at drvibeshow. Email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. You can watch replays of this epic conversation lots of places. The Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Dr. Vibe Show website, the drvibeshow.com. Also, Fly Nubian Queen. You can watch the replays on that channel on YouTube. And I'm going to have to edit this somehow because you can also watch on IndieSoupMedia.tv or their YouTube channel all over the place. So next time, I'll edit this more and probably just say replays at, and maybe I can fit in Indie Soup Media on that. But you heard it. You got it. So that's it. And also another thing, support Will and Lala. There's the link there. It's also in your comment section. So that's it. So let's shut it down here. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith, and we'll see you soon.